Tiffany Wong with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's annual Han-Kuang exercise is underway, and the military is working to ensure its weapon systems can stay in the fight. Larry Isiano is there and tells us how the ability to fuel up fast could play a key role in the country's defense.
A Black Hawk from the 601st Air Cavalry Brigade drops off a load of fuel in the northern city of Taiyuan on Tuesday morning. Units practiced hot refueling, gassing up with the engine on, to minimize time on the ground when choppers are most vulnerable.
假定周边道路油罐车都驶不进来的时候呢，那直升机呢，它可以飞越地障它可以在比如说山顶的一个平台它只要2台或1台直升机的空间，它地架呢，直升机呢先把野战牛郎先放到定点之后呢，再由地勤主任去做加油的动作。
It works like this. After the fuel is dropped off, ground troops, some with anti-drone weapons, provide cover and secure the area. Minutes later, 3 more choppers arrive to gas up. An Apache, another Black Hawk, and an OH-58D. Different copters for different battlefield roles, from ferrying supplies to tactical strikes.
Steady fuel supplies are key to modern forces, ensuring that helicopters and other support vehicles can quickly refuel and stay in the action is the key to sustaining combat operations beyond the initial stages of a conflict.
The whole operation took about 20 minutes, a rapid turnaround time that could make a real difference in actual combat in an attack by China, which claims Taiwan.
因为我们的前线的位置跟共军的位置不但很近，甚至可能是相互犬牙交错，因此如何在很短的时间找到一个临时勉强可行的地形，迅速完成挂弹整补，对于陆航战力的维持来讲就非常的重要。
The helicopter drill comes after the military's Abrams tanks carried out refueling exercises also in Taoyuan, near the country's largest airport on Monday. The exercises unveiled the Abrams' passive anti-drone armor, showing that the military has drawn lessons from the war in Ukraine, where tanks proved easy prey for low-cost drones. Troops provided cover, and building materials were used to camouflage the vehicles. These drills focused on honing the military's ability to repel a large-scale invasion, not only by delivering fire, but also by ensuring the country's weapon systems have the fuel they need to stay in the fight. Fu Huaheng and Larry Isiano for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Coast Guard has confirmed reports that a Chinese dinghy was found at the Taipei port last month. The incident came to light after a social media post raised questions about Taiwan's coastal defenses. The Coast Guard says those involved have been detained, accusing them of arriving in the country illegally. It said an investigation found officers failed to follow procedure and those responsible will be held accountable. The Coast Guard says there have been nearly 30 attempted cases of illegal entry by sea since 2025, of which 85% were intercepted. President Lai Ching-te has christened 2 new vessels for Taiwan's marine research fleet.
海洋对台湾而言也是经济发展、能源转型、生态保育，还有国家安全非常关键的议题。
The 100-ton and 300-ton vessels have been named in honor of Chen Chengbo, a renowned oil painter who was killed in the 228 incident of 1947. When finished, they'll carry out surveys to help with maritime policy and security and scientific research. The boats are expected to be delivered in the second quarter of 2027. A 4,000-ton survey vessel is also in the works. At least 130 people have been killed in Colombia after a powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake. The death toll is likely to rise with an unknown number of people trapped under rubble. John Van Trieste reports.
A cheer rises around the ruins of a building in the Colombian city of Cali. Firefighters have found someone alive. Colombia's streets are littered with rubble after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck early in the morning. Across the country, an unknown number of people are trapped beneath flattened buildings. For their relatives, it's an anguished wait.
My apartment was 302, and it was completely destroyed. My wife was inside. Thankfully, my daughter had left early, and so had I. I left early for work. And look, this is what happened. We haven't been able to rescue her. We don't know whether she is alive or dead.
Colombia is no stranger to disastrous earthquakes. Another, centered in the same area, killed 1,200 people in 1999.
I've always been pretty calm, but I thought, well, let's wait for it to pass. But we saw that the magnitude was too strong. So we searched for a place where we knew was solid ground here in the square. I think that if it had lasted 5 more seconds, there wouldn't be anything left. I think we really reached the limit of resistance.
The earthquake comes as an early test of leadership for President Abelardo de la Espriella, who was inaugurated just days ago. He's declared a state of emergency.
The first priority is rescuing the people who are under the rubble. That is the priority, rescuing the people who are still under the rubble.
There's also mounting concern among survivors over how they'll make it through the coming days without access to basic utilities.
There's no electricity, no water, no power, and no internet either. And the city is practically at a standstill in terms of traffic, water, and internet service. I repeat, water.
Pledges of help are coming in from abroad, including from neighboring Venezuela, itself still recovering from twin earthquakes in June that killed thousands. But there's a realization that getting help to where it's needed may not be easy. The quake's epicenter is in a rural, lower-income region that's more difficult to access. And aid groups are especially worried about some of the most vulnerable, children.
Right now, we are trying to get some food, water, and above all, we're trying to display people on the field so we can be there with the children and establish something that we call child-friendly spaces. These are spaces where children, if they lost their parents or they don't know where they are, can come together, have some space of activities to play, to become children again, because these kinds of situations are very concerning for them.
For now, Colombians are banding together and helping themselves, though. Professionals and volunteers combing the destruction and not giving up hope that there are lives still to save. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
TSMC has announced record sales for July as the AI boom continues to drive demand. The company posted consolidated sales of $14.5 billion, up more than 44% from the same month last year. That surpasses the previous record set in June. TSMC has also updated its outlook for the rest of the year, forecasting sales will grow by over 40%. The company also predicts new sales records will be set in August and September. Nvidia is partnering with major Wall Street players to raise $500 billion for AI infrastructure. Investors, including Goldman Sachs and Blackstone, have signed deals with the chipmaker that will allow customers to deploy more Nvidia-powered systems. The partnership highlights Nvidia's growing ties with Wall Street to help fund the chips, power generation, and data centers. India is emerging as a player in the global AI boom as companies around the country cash in and the government invests billions. Reporter Lily Lamatina has this story.
At a bustling factory in western India, technicians work around the clock to turn glass into hair-thin fiber optic strands, bound for data centers powering AI's growth worldwide. India's AI models and advanced chips may not be on the radar for most, but the country is emerging as one of the fastest-growing markets for AI data centers.
I think we're well placed, whether it comes to land, with power availability, and I think the way the push is coming both from the center and the states, I think this is the right time, and I think many companies are looking at not only setting up but having 5 to 10 year investment plans in India.
Construction is heating up to match.
So we have 16 operational data centers. There are 12 under development data centers. We have close to 200 megawatt of operational capacity currently, and under development pipeline and all the future pipeline that we have, we expect to get to the lot bigger number.
Unlike elsewhere, the rapid expansion has met little resistance so far, and stakeholders largely appear to be on the same page.
Yeah, see, the Indian opposition to data centers in India is probably in a very nascent stage. And some of the voices of opposition that I have heard, they had been primarily driven by the data being from the US rather than the data being used from India. If the experts will use the Indian data, and then I'm confident that there will not be any opposition.
India is looking to climb the ladder of world tech superpowers. Semiconductor projects to fuel the AI boom in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state of Gujarat, and around $10 billion of state funding for projects nationwide is no coincidence. New Delhi is also backing the AI build-out with tax waivers for hyperscalers on Indian soil, chasing a gap where India holds a fifth of the world's data but under 5% of its data center capacity. But this AI automation could rattle India's enormous IT and business outsourcing industries, worth hundreds of billions of US dollars. For now, businesses are still riding the boom, and as one chipmaker CEO puts it, the AI game is only in its third inning. Leon Lien, Ted Chen, and Lily Lamattina for TaiwanPlus.
New data shows that more than 70% of Taiwan's workers now earn less than the average wage. The figure comes from the first half of 2026 and is an all-time high. Government officials say it's not necessarily a sign of income inequality and is the result of shifts in two key job sectors. Taiwan has been rapidly adding foreign industrial workers who earn less than the average wage, and the AI wave has increased the wages of tech workers. Looking at the broader economy, real wages were up for the period as pay increases outpaced inflation. To learn more about the changes in Taiwan's wages, our reporter Irene Lin spoke with Yang Shuwei, Secretary General of the NGO Taiwan Labor Front.
Over 70% of workers in Taiwan are earning below average salaries. First of all, what are some major trends shown in these figures?
那它会有两个这个可能，第一个可能就是我们的这个产业的薪资差距其实是逐渐的这个扩大。第二个的可能则是我们现在移工跟部分工时的人数大增的这个持续增加的这个状况。从主计总处相关的这个数据可以看到是，虽然我们的全体受雇劳工70%以上的这个劳工他是低于这个平均薪资，可是如果我们只看本国籍劳工的话，其实这样子的比率其实是有稍微下降的这个状况。
Now let's talk about the 70% that fall below average. Who are they and what do they do?
服务业，比如说餐饮、旅宿业，或者是其他的这个产业里面，它的薪资其实都还是偏低的这个状况，它可能只有3万出头的这个部分。企业它一直不断说，台湾人我们可能花4万块、5万块，台湾人不愿意来从事这份的工作，所以就聘雇这个移工。可是移工进来的时候，往往他们领到的就是最低工资，他可能1个月都没有休息，他的薪水也只有3万出头的这个状况。
Now, as you said, there seems to be a noticeable income gap between domestic and foreign migrant workers. Why is that?
台湾的移工分成2个样态，一个是产业移工，一个是社福移工。那产业移工的这个部分，目前他们都还是必须受到劳动法规相关的这个保障。那社福移工目前因为照顾的这个产业就不适用劳动基准法的这个保障。那其实这个有可能都会涉及到我们现在要跟上国际供应链的时候会遇到的一些状况。第一个部分就是涉及强迫劳动，第二个部分就是它是否有可能会跟本国籍劳工会有这个同工不同酬的这个部分，那它有可能就会有这个所谓就业歧视相关的这个部分。
That was Yang Shuwei from Taiwan Labor Front. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we take a look at Medellin's Festival of Flowers, where the city streets burst into bloom. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next time.